All right, our next matter is a special presentation from Hampton Roads Partnership. But
certainly appreciate you allowing the Hampton Roads Partnership to come and do a presentation about our impact on the region. I am Missy Schmidt. I'm the new communication manager at the partnership. First of all, I just want to explain who and what is the Hampton Roads Partnership. We are the only organization in the region that convenes the leaders from business, government, which includes 10 cities, 6 counties, and 1 town, all of higher education, as well as the K through 12 educators and the 8 military commands, to focus on key issues that directly relate to enhancing our region's economic competitiveness in the global economy. This makeup makes us a private-public partnership. We understand the geopolitical boundaries of today's global economy, and we understand that Hampton Roads is defined as a region by where we eat, where we shop, where we live, where we play, not by our city and our county borders. Hampton Roads' economic influence is also felt not just statewide, but also nationally and internationally. Our focus is to capitalize on the region's economic interdependence, and it's critical to all of our individual successes as well. We are, on a whole, made stronger by cooperating and collaborating, and therefore the partnership pulls together those 17 member jurisdictions and works to promote the interdependence. We act as a convener, we act as a facilitator and an influencer in all matters of regional concern. On the other hand, the Hampton Roads Partnership does not build schools, we don't fill potholes, and we don't lay sewer lines. Our work really has no beginning and no end. Secondly, I'd like to explain what the partnership is not. We are not the Economic Development Alliance. HREDA's mission is solely business attraction. They externally market Hampton Roads region as a preferred location, totally focused on securing qualified business prospects from outside the region to come here. The Hampton Roads Partnership is also not the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber's mission solely representing business viewpoints and interests to the public sector. For instance, the Hampton Roads Chambers work with HREDA in attracting new business to the region. They also provide value-added programs and services like leadership training, events, networking opportunities, educational programs, and cost-saving employee benefit programs. Also not the Planning District Commission. The Planning District Commission's sole mission is to serve as a public forum for local elected officials and chief public administrators to deliberate and decide issues of regional importance. Our HRPDC is one of 21 such associations in the state of Virginia, and they serve as a technical resource. They deal with things like environmental planning, emergency management, and transportation. So why was the partnership even formed? 15 years ago, there was a widespread concern about the economic impact of recession, defense downsizing, and intensified competition from other eastern seaboard ports and southeastern metropolitan areas. Sounds a little like today. Those kinds of threats are cyclical, and they always seem to be present. They just come at us from different sources and at different times. First of all, there was something called the Plan 2000. There were 400-plus businesses, universities, and public leaders from all over Hampton Roads that came up with a way to tackle our collective problems as a region. Unfortunately, there wasn't any money, and there wasn't any organization to implement such a plan. At the same time, luckily, there was something called the Urban Partnership that was working on a statewide level. There were mayors from all over Virginia, major urban areas, the Virginia Chamber, and Virginia's colleges and universities were working on the same issue with business leaders from around the state. What they finally decided was that we needed to think and act regionally and unleash neighborhood potential to come up with an answer and develop regional initiatives. So they came up in 1996 with something called the Regional Competitiveness Act, and they had some money. That was really what officially created the partnership back in '96. The partnership is solely funded by the annual investments of its member organizations, jurisdictions, as well as business leaders. The regional competitiveness monies that I mentioned as to why the partnership was originally, or how it was originally formed, was strictly for programs purposes. Unfortunately, that money dried up 5 years ago, so the partnership is now totally funded from the annual investment model. Close to 80% of our support comes from member business leaders, but it's the elected participants, the elected officials. They are key with making this work. It's a finely tuned balance. So the issues of our focus back in '96 are still with us today. The port, the federal government part of our economy, and technology-related economic development. So we've made some significant progress, but the threats remain. Our key strategic areas today are transportation. We supported legislation to fund the transportation research work modeling study that VMAS just did. just finished. We're working hard to try and stop the raid on the current construction budget, and we're working on other creative solutions such as capacity management, ways to mitigate the congestion on the roads without having to build new roads and bridges and tunnels. Secondly is the economy. The focus is there, modeling and simulation. We support ODUs, VMASC, and other modeling and simulation organizations. This year we facilitated the second annual ModSim World Conference, and we had over 700 worldwide participants. We also helped facilitate the development of the first regional simulation strategic plan. What that does is we want to bring research and industry together for economic purposes. Part of the economy that we deal with is port and marine logistics. We've supported multimodal infrastructure to maximize container capacity at the port. We've also worked on the proposed global logistics park that's going to provide ready-to-build sites that will help support the port's growth. Thirdly, as part of the economy, is federal expenditures. Currently, those are 40% of our economy. We either need to mitigate it or we need to look for something else, but it's a very real factor. Last but not least, as far as our strategic focus is education, we do focus our educational purposes on school readiness, and we do work with the Smart Beginnings organization with that. As any good organization, you've got to have some measures of success, and the partnership hasn't really had definable measures in the past, and that's something that we really wanted to work on. We have something that's going to be launched in January by the governor. It's an outcropping of Virginia Performs website. It's an offshoot of the state government's website. Ours is going to be called Hampton Roads Performs. We are going to be the model for the rest of the state. We're the first rollout. It provides measures of generally accepted quality of life indicators. Provide easy access for public forum, great assessment tool, and it's going to be a basis by which organizations like yours, government, and citizens will be able to see where it is, where do we stand, how do we compare with other regions in the state, how do we compare with other states, and how do we compare nationwide. We've used data tracking organizations. Many are local, PDC, EDA, and counties themselves, the Norfolk Foundation, the Planning Council, and the universities, TCC and ODU, have also provided information. It's actually going to finally give us a comprehensive, transparent view of the region so that every citizen will know where we stand on things like the economy, education, health, family, government, natural resources, public safety, and transportation. It's going to offer a scorecard, so we'll be able to see what areas are we doing better at, what areas are we just doing average at, and what areas are we worsening at. And it also is going to give an opportunity for organizations that are already addressing some of those issues, like a Smart Beginnings, for instance. We'll be able to link to that information and be able to provide the public with even more information about what they're doing to help mitigate some of those problems. For instance, on the scorecard, some of the things that are Hampton Roads Partnership specific that we're going to look at are modeling and simulation, the port and maritime, which right now, as we know, the Port of Hampton Roads is the 6th largest in the U.S., and we trail only New York and Savannah on the East Coast. We're working on number 1. Research and technology. We'll be able to compare our local university's research and technology achievements with Johns Hopkins, who's the leader in the nation, and UVA and Tech, who are the leaders in Virginia right now. Also on improving public transit. The partnership is really working hard to try and bring regional leaders together, because as we know, the health of one of our communities is in jeopardy. It's a problem for the entire region. Our current studies show that upwards of 60% of us live in one community and work in another. What does the future hold for Hampton Roads? Really, truly believe that regional cooperation is of greater importance today than it ever was. With shrinking local budgets and our economic times that we're in, I mean, we need to work on trying to improve services at a lower cost more than ever today. Our program of work is basically to turn us from America's first region into America's best region. We gave you a short 4-page impact summary in each of your packets so that you can kind of see the details of what we talked about today. It's an outline of the work that we do, and we will hopefully continue to do with your active participation and financial support. I thank you, and I appreciate your time, and thank you on behalf of not only the partnership staff, the partnership board members, but also the ultimate beneficiaries and stakeholders of this partnership, which are the citizens of Hampton Roads.